Hey everyone, it is Thursday, so that means that it is time for the ICM News of the Week. It is Thursday, February 18th, and it is nighttime, so you can see outside the lovely night view of Amsterdam just a few hours before the curfew. Now let's get to it. So the big thing to chat about this week is that there is a vacation next week. So next week, please do not show up to any of your classes. Do not show up. Do not come out. Don't stop caring about me now. Walk away. Anyways, please do not attend any of your classes. Use this week to rest and relax. And for those that are looking for something to do, we encourage you to work on a particular skill set that you find yourself attracted or interested in. So if you are looking into the world of copywriting, this is a great time to potentially just write for a brand. Pick a brand and write a press release. Pick a different brand and write a blog post. And this is really vital for your portfolio. So when you get to apply to jobs and internships, that you'll have this, demonstrations of work that you're interested in. And the same goes with the Skills Week attendees. If you really resonated with design and creating flyers, go ahead and create flyers. And this might sound silly, but this is how a lot of my friends in the creative fields got their work, is that they created just mock campaigns, mock flyers for brands that they really liked and brands that they really wanted to work for. So if you don't want to rest and relax, please use this time to work on your portfolio. Now, news for first years. For first years that are interested in taking a minor, there's going to be more information about minors for you coming in March. So this is a really great time to, just to think about the future, about year two, what sorts of courses that you are interested in. And I'm going to chat later in the following week with Miss Victoria, who's a second year student, and she'll tell you a little bit about her minor that she's taking at the HHS, which is political communication in the 21st century. So if you're politically minded, yeah, it's fun to start looking for minors and stuff that speaks to you. Lastly, for the first years, just best of luck for those in critical thinking that have their presentations in week 3, week 4, and week 5. And keep on keeping on with digital communications. It's really, really cool to see your work. It's a really cool class so far. And for design thinking and the other classes that you have, keep it up. And that's it for year 1. For ICM students in year 2, there's not so much news for you. I think that you are cozy right now with your minors having been started, but also just something to remember that the resits for term 2 are happening in the evenings of term 3. So in March, the week of March 15th is going to be when your term 2 resits will be. So keep that in mind. And for our ICM Year 3 students, please pay your attention to the PPT Blackboard announcements, which has indicated that your due date for your PPT proposal has been shifted by 1 week. So it is now due March 8th. So that will give you some extra time to really soak in all that wonderful knowledge that you've learned from PPP to apply and tackle your proposal for PPT. So go get it. You're going to do awesome. In other news, 2 weeks ago, we had the open day. So again, a huge thank you to Christina, Mike, Vanessa, and our alumni Charlotte, as well as a shout out to Miss Wood for spending time with us on Saturday to talk to prospective students who might be interested in this program. In my personal life, what's been happening in my personal life? These last 2 weeks have been a blur. It was Valentine's Day, so I spent some time with my partner, and that was really nice. And also too, I released the Instagram effect that I mentioned a few newsletters ago. So I've been working on a self-care Instagram effect filter, just because honestly, I have noticed that in these last couple months, especially the winter months, self-care has been really difficult for me to do daily, habitually, and as a routine. And I've also been reading, some news about how students are just having a rough time, and being a sensitive person, it's it makes me sad and, well, whatever. I'm not going to put my emotions on you, but so I developed the simple self-care Instagram effect. So if making self-care, if you want to make more of a routine of your self-care, check it out. And even if not, just check it out. That'd be cool if you could. Drop me a line, drop me some feedback on how you like the effect, maybe some changes or improvements. I'm always welcome to feedback. And finally, we present the Dutch word of the week, which has been occupying a lot of people's mind in the last 2 weeks, and that is the Dutch word for snow, Snew. Snew. Oh God. Snew. I need to hear myself. Snew. Snew. Okay, I need assistance from Google Translate.
Sneeuw. 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 Sneeuw.
Certain things in this language that the ew, I can't do. So like lion is also the same. Sneeuwleeuw. Sneeuwleeuw.
Sneeuwleeuw.
Sneeuwleeuw. Sneeuwleeuw. Now, the last piece of big news that I have for you is that I would like to welcome to everyone a new lecturer for our ICM and Communicatievoltijd program. I want to give the floor to Miss Carlien Schafthuizen, and I have done a small interview with her, so you get to meet Carlien, know more about her, and we are very, very lucky to have her come join our program with her expertise. So here will be the interview now. Watching, I am very excited to welcome a new ICM and COM colleague to the fold, Miss Carlien Schafthuizen. Did I say your name correctly, the last name? Can you pronounce it for us?
It's Carlien Schafthuizen.
Schafthuizen.
Yeah, but any variation on that is fine. It's a really tough name. And for Germans, it's like Schaffhausen. And that's like a brand that has really nice, very expensive watches. So if you prefer to call me Schaffhausen, then be my guest. It's totally fine.
So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? So you're a new lecturer to the program. Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Rotterdam, actually. That's where I live right now as well. And I'm raised in this town, or to be more specific, in Schiedam, which is like a small town where the Jenever is coming from, like a typical Dutch. It's like where the Russians have vodka. Well, Schiedam has their Jenever.
So you did the ICM program 10 years ago.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was before the master degree. I studied ICM as well. Yeah, I think it was the third year after the study started. And so I already knew Barry Verbeek and Peter Hansen.
After that, you went on to do a master's, you mentioned, at the Erasmus University in Rotterdam. And,
yes.
And then after that, you went on to work for an NGO. What types of tasks and what was the NGO about?
It was funny because it was an NGO for a very small company or for a very small organization about mobile heritage, and to make this mobile heritage more sustainable. And it was funny because it was the first time I really had to do with like different stakeholders, and it really, I had to put a lot of effort in like all these different communication strategies, because I had to do with universities that were like coming up with all these projects for sustainable alternatives for mobile heritage. But of course there were also these volunteers and these people that really loved their old car, and they weren't open for any sustainable options at all. And it was like a big challenge to bring all these groups together and to convince people about heritage itself, but also about looking for sustainable options, and to work together and to sort of encourage all the knowledge, and also different ways to keep that knowledge alive. Because when you're talking about heritage, like there's so much knowledge, but it's sort of like dying out, and that's a waste, because maybe within like 20 years we don't know how to take care of these old cars or planes. And so we did a lot of things about documenting, and that was cool. It was challenging, but it was very lonely at the same time as well, because I was like doing a lot of work by myself, and but it was a good beginning. I learned a lot.
That's cool. And also too, nice that you're able to recognize that you do like, the team player atmosphere, which brought you to your next role for doing. You mentioned that you did a lot of writing, working for this magazine platform. How was that? You were then thrust into this like fast-paced world, the media, it's going 24/7. Any anecdotes, any experiences, any thoughts or tips from students that might want to become a part of this industry once they graduate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, where should I start? Because I worked there for 4.5 years almost, but it seems to be like 10 years because there's so many things happening.
What did you do there? If you
Yeah, I
don't
was
mind
there.
asking?
Well, first of all, we started with the brand actually, so everyone had to be developed, like from an app to the website to the whole magazine itself. So it was a lot of like concepting, branding as well. Like what is our story? And because magazines, there's so many magazines already, and it's not like a really it's not an industry that is expanding or that there's like a lot of it's growing. Not at all. It's like the other way around actually. So it's really, if you would like to start a new magazine, it really has to stand out. And so that was a nice focus for the concept. And I remember there was this big night planned. We were working on the whole concept for like 6 months, and then we had this like kickoff of the magazine. And of course, like the magazine is it's a magazine from Chantal Jansen, so she's famous and she has a lot of famous friends. So it was in a big hotel in Amsterdam, and there were about like maybe 300 people. It was before Corona, of course, and so like celebrity. And then we had to show the app online and to sort of release or how do we say that? So cool. Release the app as well.
Yeah.
Then there was
so cool.
it was really nice. But then there was an article about sex on the app, and we used like a graphic or something. And then Google, last minute, just 1 hour before the whole kickoff, they just they didn't delete the app, but they put a hold on the app. So because of this sexual content, and that was. Yeah, so we were really stressed and calling with Google, and if they could please do something about it. But so yeah,
I'm like, what happened in the end?
Well, in the end, everything was all right because we just sort of like changed the structure of the whole presentation, so we had a bit more time. Okay. And of course, you're like almost peeing in your pants, or in this case, I was wearing a dress. But it's the first lesson, like everything is going to be fine. We were not saving people's lives, and that's also like a good advice for like your career if it comes to studying or your internship. And sometimes you think like things are going terribly wrong, and it's like you're losing it. But in the end, there's always a solution, and there's always something. It will always work out in the end. Mm-hmm.
And lastly, so you worked there. You're doing interviews, you're writing content, you're communicating to a reader, which is so cool. And now you are a lecturer. What made you consider the switch?
Good question. Well, I really like the writing, but I have to say, like working for a lifestyle magazine for 4 years, you're always writing like different articles and interviewing other people's, but it sort of has the same structure every month. And there's a certain moment you are aware of the fact that you are telling someone else stories from a vision that is not really yours, and from a certain perspective and from a certain concept that doesn't really fit your personality anymore. And actually, because it was like such a good job, I really I really had the idea that my position should also be done by someone who is that enthusiastic about their work, and I wasn't the person anymore. And then you're like looking for yourself, like what would you like to do, and what are the things you're getting your the energy from. And for me, that wasn't something in the corporate environment. That wasn't something for a really big brand or a company, or branding stuff I didn't really trust in. So and I really liked supervising the students, and to not only work on their professional skills but also on their personal skills, and not only to make them become like better writers, but also to make them become like it might sound a bit weird, but like nice colleagues, people I really want to work with, because that's like even as important as your writing skills if you would like to work in journalism. It's actually an honor to become part of the process of seeing these students grow up, and I think that's like really
Nice to chat with you. And for students that are already taking your classes, they know who you are, and you'll be teaching again in the 4th term, and second year students, you can plan on seeing Carlien in year 3. So
teacher,
yeah, thanks so much for your time, Carlien, and
thank you, Rob. Thanks for the questions, and
glad to have you a part of the Communicatie and ICM fold.
Thank you. Thanks for your welcome and the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Anyways, so that is it from me today. So I wish you guys a wonderful week, and we'll touch base not next week, but the week afterwards. And I wish you guys a wonderful, relaxing, and for some of you, a productive and insightful break. So yeah, take care and chat to you later.